Something happened at airports across America last year that caught millions of travelers completely off guard. People who had been flying their entire lives suddenly found themselves stuck at security checkpoints, confused, embarrassed. Some of them missed their flights entirely. And the strangest part? Most of them had no idea anything had changed. I watched it happen. I saw the look on their faces when TSA agents told them their driver's license was no longer valid for boarding a plane. These were not people who forgot their ID at home. They brought exactly what they had always brought. The same license they had used for decades, but the rules changed, and nobody told them. I am Captain Jake, spent over 10 years in commercial aviation, and right now, I need to walk you through everything that shifted in 2025 and what is coming in 2026 that could affect every single flight you take from this point forward. This is not speculation. These are federal regulations, Department of Transportation rules, TSA policies that are already in effect or taking effect within months. If you are over 60 and you plan to fly anywhere in the next year, the next 10 minutes could save you from a very bad day at the airport. Let me start with the change that has already created the most chaos. Real ID. You have probably heard about this for years. The deadline kept getting pushed back. 2020, then 2021, then 2023. So many delays that most people assumed it would never actually happen. It happened. May 7th, 2025. The enforcement began. Here is what this means in plain terms. That regular driver's license you have been using your whole life, the one without a star in the upper corner, it no longer works for domestic flights. Period. I need to be very clear about something. There are no exceptions for age. None. Whether you are 35 or 85, the same rule applies. Your Medicare card will not help you. Your Social Security card means nothing at TSA checkpoints. That old paper copy of your birth certificate you have kept in a drawer for 50 years? Useless. TSA requires one of the following: a real ID compliant license with that star marking, a valid United States passport, a passport card, a military ID, or a trusted traveler card like Global Entry or Nexus. If you show up without one of these, here is what happens. You face additional screening, significant delays, and potentially you do not get through security at all. Starting February 1st, 2026, TSA is rolling out something called Confirm ID. If you arrive without proper identification, you can pay a $45 fee and TSA will attempt to verify your identity through other means. But this is not guaranteed to work. And even if it does, you are looking at major delays that could cause you to miss your flight. The solution is simple, but it requires action now. Either get your real ID through your state DMV, which requires specific documents like a birth certificate and proof of address, or use your passport for domestic travel. Getting a real ID is not as simple as renewing your regular license. You need to bring original documents, a birth certificate or passport proving citizenship, a social security card or W-2 showing your full social security number, 2 documents proving your current address like utility bills or bank statements. If you changed your name at any point through marriage or divorce, you need documentation of every name change. Marriage certificates, divorce decrees, court orders. For some seniors, gathering these documents is genuinely difficult. Birth certificates from 80 years ago may have been lost. Records from previous marriages may no longer exist. This is why I recommend a backup plan. I know what some of you are thinking. I do not have a passport. I only fly within the country. Get one anyway. A passport card costs around $65 and fits in your wallet. It works for domestic flights and you never have to worry about whether your state license is compliant. A full passport book costs more, but works for international travel too. The passport application process is often easier than Real ID for seniors who have trouble gathering decades-old documents. You can apply by mail for renewals. First-time applicants go to a passport acceptance facility, often at the post office. Now here is some good news mixed in with all these changes. TSA eliminated the shoe removal rule in July 2025. For nearly 20 years, every single person going through airport security had to take off their shoes. This started after Richard Reed tried to detonate explosives hidden in his shoes back in 2001. That requirement is gone. You can now walk through security with your shoes on. There are exceptions. If the scanner detects something suspicious, or if you trigger an alarm, TSA officers may still ask you to remove your shoes for additional screening. But as a general rule, the awkward shuffle of removing shoes while holding your bags and your belt is over. For passengers 75 and older, TSA has additional accommodations. You may be able to keep light jackets on during screening. You receive expedited processing through risk-based security, and if you have TSA PreCheck, the process becomes even smoother. Speaking of technology, TSA is expanding mobile driver's license acceptance at hundreds of checkpoints. You can now store your ID in Apple Wallet, Google Wallet, or Samsung Wallet in participating states. Walk up to the checkpoint, tap your phone, and you are verified. But here is my advice. Do not rely on this alone. Keep a physical real ID or passport with you every single time. Technology fails. Phones die. Airports have different systems. A physical ID is your backup. Let me shift to something that affects you the moment something goes wrong with your flight. The Department of Transportation finalized new rules for automatic refunds that went into effect in late 2024. These rules are still being enforced and refined heading into 2026. Here is what you are now entitled to by law. If your domestic flight is delayed 3 hours or more, or your international flight is delayed 6 hours or more, and you choose not to take the rebooked flight, you get an automatic cash refund. Not a voucher, not travel credits. Actual money back to your original payment method. Airlines must process credit card refunds within 7 business days. Other payment methods within 20 calendar days. This also applies to services you paid for but did not receive. You paid for Wi-Fi and it did not work. Refund. Seat selection and they moved you. Refund. Your checked bag arrives more than 12 hours late on a domestic flight. You get that baggage fee refunded automatically. The key word here is automatic. Airlines are required to issue these refunds without you having to jump through hoops, call customer service repeatedly, or fill out endless forms. But I want to give you a realistic warning. Airlines do not always comply smoothly. Know your rights. Document everything. If a refund does not appear within those timeframes, file a complaint directly with the Department of Transportation Aviation Consumer Protection Division. Here is exactly what you should do when a flight goes wrong. First, do not accept the first offer the airline makes. Gate agents often push vouchers and travel credits because those cost the airline less. You have the right to a cash refund. Second, get everything in writing. Ask for written confirmation of the delay or cancellation. Take screenshots of departure boards showing the delay time. Keep your boarding pass and original itinerary. Third, note the exact time. A flight delayed 2 hours and 59 minutes does not qualify for automatic refund. 3 hours and 1 minute does. Airlines know this. They will try to get you rebooked before the 3-hour mark. Fourth, if you accept an alternative flight, you lose your refund rights. Make sure you want that refund before you decline rebooking. Fifth, know the difference between what the airline offers and what the law requires. Hotels and meals during delays are not guaranteed by federal law for domestic flights, but refunds are. By the way, if you want all of this information organized in one place along with step-by-step guides for dealing with delays, cancellations, lost luggage, security issues, and your complete passenger rights, I put together something called the Airport Survival Guide. Everything I have learned in over a decade of flying, condensed into one resource. Link is in the description if that is helpful. Let me continue with what else is changing. Southwest Airlines is making the biggest shift in its 50-year history starting January 27, 2026. They are ending open seating. For decades, Southwest was famous for its first-come, first-served boarding. You check in early, you get a better position in line, you grab whatever seat you want when you board. That is finished. Starting in late January, Southwest moves to assigned seating like every other major airline. You will choose from standard, preferred, or extra legroom seating when you book. The boarding process changes from ABC groups to numbered groups 1 through 8. Why does this matter for seniors? It eliminates the stress of racing to check in exactly 24 hours before departure to get a good boarding position. No more standing in line hoping to get an aisle seat. No more walking onto a full plane and scrambling to find 2 seats together if you are traveling with a companion. You book your seat in advance. You know exactly where you are sitting before you arrive at the airport. For some travelers, this is welcome relief. For others who enjoyed the flexibility of open seating, it requires adjustment. Moving on to something critically important for travelers with mobility needs. The Department of Transportation finalized stronger protections for passengers who use wheelchairs and scooters. Enforcement is phasing in throughout 2026. Airlines must provide improved training for all employees and contractors who assist passengers with disabilities or handle mobility equipment. This training must include hands-on demonstrations. Staff must pass competency assessments. There are new standards for onboard wheelchairs on aircraft with more than 60 seats. Airlines face increased accountability when mobility devices are damaged. If your wheelchair or scooter is mishandled, the rules for compensation and liability are much clearer now. Prompt assistance is required for boarding, deplaning, and making connections. Airlines cannot leave you waiting excessively for help getting on or off the plane. If you or someone you travel with relies on mobility equipment, these changes provide meaningful protection. But you should still document the condition of your equipment before checking it. Take photos. Note any existing damage. Keep serial numbers handy. If something goes wrong, you want clear evidence. One tip from experienced travelers. Use a luggage tag with your contact information attached directly to the wheelchair or scooter frame. If it gets separated from your flight, they can reach you immediately. Another tip. Arrive at the gate early and speak directly with the gate agent about your equipment. Explain any special handling requirements. The more they know before loading, the better they can protect your device. If your wheelchair or scooter arrives damaged, report it immediately before leaving the airport. Fill out a formal damage report. Take photos of the damage at the airport. Get the name of every airline employee you speak with. Here is a change that sounds small, but creates problems when people are not prepared. Airlines are enforcing basic economy restrictions more aggressively than ever. If you book the cheapest fare available, you may find yourself with almost nothing included. No seat selection, no full-sized carry-on bag. Overhead bin access blocked on some carriers, strict change and cancellation penalties. This catches seniors off guard constantly. You book what looks like a great deal, and then discover at the airport that your carry-on must be checked for a fee because your ticket class does not include overhead bin access. Read the fine print before booking. Basic economy is not economy class. It is a stripped-down product designed for travelers who have zero luggage and zero preferences about where they sit. If you want to choose your seat, bring a carry-on bag, or have any flexibility whatsoever, pay for a standard economy fare. The few extra dollars are worth avoiding the chaos at the gate. Something else to understand about 2026. Facial recognition technology is expanding rapidly at airports. More TSA checkpoints and airline gates now use cameras to verify your identity by scanning your face. Here is what many travelers do not realize. This is optional. You can opt out. You can request standard ID verification instead. TSA cannot force you to use facial recognition, but they do not always advertise this clearly. If you are uncomfortable with biometric scanning, simply tell the TSA officer you prefer traditional ID verification. They must accommodate you. A few more quick changes to know about. Skipping the first leg of a connecting flight now triggers automatic cancellation of your entire itinerary more aggressively than before. Airlines are enforcing this with fewer exceptions. If your ticket has you flying from Chicago to Dallas to Phoenix, and you decide to skip the Chicago to Dallas leg and just show up in Dallas, your Dallas to Phoenix ticket gets canceled automatically. For international flights, many destinations now require advance passenger information submitted before you travel. If your passport details or contact information are missing or incorrect, you may face problems at check-in or boarding. Domestic airline reliability has become a bigger issue. Crew rest rules mean airlines may cancel flights rather than delay them indefinitely when crews approach legal duty limits. This protects safety, but creates frustration when your evening flight gets cancelled instead of pushed back 2 hours. Let me bring this to a close with what I think matters most. Aviation has changed more in the past 2 years than in the previous 2 decades combined. The pandemic accelerated shifts that were already coming. Government agencies implemented rules that had been delayed for years. Airlines restructured operations permanently. Passengers who fly once or twice a year for family visits or vacations are most likely to be caught unprepared. The rules you learned 10 years ago may no longer apply. Here is your action list. Check your driver's license right now. Look for the star in the upper corner. If it is not there, you need a real ID or you need to bring your passport every time you fly. Understand refund rules. 3 hours domestic, 6 hours international. Automatic cash refunds if you do not accept the alternative flight. Read fare restrictions before booking. Basic economy is not the same as regular economy. Know your rights with mobility equipment. Document everything. Airlines are required to treat your devices with care and compensate you if they fail. Arrive earlier than you used to. New ID verification systems, stricter boarding enforcement, and security changes all mean the old timing may not work anymore. One more thought before you go. These rules exist because travelers demanded better treatment. Automatic refunds happened because airlines were keeping money they did not deserve. ID requirements tightened because security needed updating. Disability protections improved because people spoke up about being mistreated. The system is not perfect, but it is responding to problems that existed for too long. Your job is to know what changed so you can benefit from the improvements and avoid the pitfalls. Share this video with anyone you know who plans to fly this year. Your spouse, your siblings, friends from church, or your community group. A lot of people have no idea about real ID enforcement or the new refund rules. They are going to find out the hard way unless someone tells them first. Leave me a comment and let me know if any of these changes surprised you. Are you ready for real ID? Have you already dealt with refund issues and used the new rules successfully? Your experiences help everyone in this community. Subscribe if you want more practical travel information for passengers over 60. I release new videos regularly covering airport navigation, airline policies, and the health and safety considerations that most travelers overlook. I am Captain Jake. Stay informed, fly prepared, and I will see you in the next one.